gamers, welcome back to a brand new DSP video. Now, sadly, I still have not gotten new batteries for the automaton, so it is still MIA for now. I'm sorry, everyone. I haven't gotten the batteries yet, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Don't worry. I will buy batteries. Calm down. Relax. Anyways, this was an idea I wanted to do earlier this week until the Iron Cook Sakai drama just kind of derailed everything. Because DSP had one of the most insane rants about lost records that it just blew my mind. And I wanted to do a video about it. And then DSP had to talk about Iron Cook Sakai and you know, what happened. But now we got time, nothing's going on, nothing dramatic, nothing major's happening. So right now is like the best time to cover the lost records nonsense he was going through on the Level 1 podcast. Okay? Alright, let's get going. Wrong window, I'm on OBS still. Alright.
Schedule-wise, you saw what we're doing this week.
I don't care about schedule. Get this out of here.
Who'll be the first super chatter? Who's going to gift some memberships on YouTube today? Right? That would be nice.
No, it wouldn't.
Got them working smoothly now.
Okay, got them working.
You will get an...
Okay, animation.
Ready for this?
All right.
Lost records yesterday.
Now I'm ready.
Quite frankly.
Frankly.
Was insanely boring. Okay? Now, here's the deal.
When
you make a video game.
Here's the dealio.
What is the real primary reason and focus for making a video? Let's think about this.
A video.
So, Jasper, you're just sitting here so nicely. What are you sitting here for, buddy?
I like how it cut off game, so it says, what is the reason for making a video?
You want to jump on the chair? People like to see you, buddy. You want to come up here?
It's not to talk about Jasper.
Come on. And he's like looking all around, because remember, I have them all around.
Look. If Yuxi were in there, she would jump on his lap, but the whole time I'm telling you, if Yuxi was in this little gamer room, she would be terrorizing the whole room. First off, she'd be climbing all over him, like trying to scratch the fuck out of his fingers, try to scratch his head, try to do whatever. Like she just climbs on you and does whatever. She doesn't give a fuck. She'll probably knock over everything on the table. She's been like throwing stuff off tables lately, like nothing like serious. Like it's kind of funny. It's really like she targets things that she knows. Hey, this isn't a problem. If this falls, it's not a big deal. Like she would like throw like a paper clip, or like literally just small things like a pen. Like she would just knock that off. So she'd probably knock over the crown because that's not gonna break. Whatever. And then Tiago would probably like just I don't know what he'd do. Who knows what's going on through their minds. But Yuxi's just pure chaos. You know what? I think Tiago would not even bother going to that room. He would just see this nonsense and be like, I don't want any part of this. I'm going to the kitchen. There's no food here. What would I eat?
All around the edge of the office. It's not just behind me. Behind me is the major light show, but I've got RGBs all around the walls, and he's looking at him like, ooh, he's all like infatuated. You like it? It's cooling blue light. Okay, so.
Okay.
In regards to a video game, what is the primary thing that you're attempting to do with a video game?
This is
all right.
This is low-key bullshit. Like the one thing that made me want to do a video for sure is because this is the most like anti-art, anti-game, anti-whatever the fuck, like, statement you can have, where you're just purely looking at something as just a product. Like, this is the kind of mentality that, like, CEOs think about, like, when they're thinking about funding a game. Will this game make money? Can this be sold? Will people buy this? And they're not thinking about, like, the expression or whatever the fuck that makes a game good. They're just thinking like, how can we sell it and just think that people are buying video games just for distractions and stuff like that. Like it's just sheer, not like, it's just cold, like uninteresting thoughts. You know, like you're not willing to engage with the thing you're playing or you're buying. You're just looking at it as like a product. And this is like not a good attitude to have, especially from this guy who went on like tangents about how video games are art and should be taken seriously. Like if that's the case, he should not be having this rant. You know, come on.
Well, if you're a company who produces them for profits, you're probably going to say, well, to sell it to make money. All right. And fair enough. You're going to make a product that you want to be able to sell. Right. But for the gamer, for the end user, right?
The end user.
I would argue there's two things that you want most out of a video game. Number one, you want to have fun. Right?
Fun.
The whole point of playing a game is that it's not work. It's supposed to be fun. Now, everyone has a subjective idea of what's fun.
This is, I've said this before, and once you like notice it, it's really obnoxious. So this dude says that he's doing this as a job and this stuff, but every time he plays the game, he's like, well, I just want to relax. I just want to have fun. That's what I want to do. It's like, but this is your job. Like, to play games and to like show like whatever the fuck, and he defaults to, I just want to have fun and relax. Dude, this is your job, correct? I don't know. You gotta perform, right?
It's fun. For some people, it's a gameplay loop that's addicting. For some people, it's overcoming great challenge and obstacle and feeling a piece of accomplishment. For some people,
this is so annoying. Like, I'm already posting way too much, to be fair, but it's just, it really is. Like, he like scientifically designed every Don't Nod game, every Life is Strange game, whatever the fuck, and this kind of stuff to just trigger me. It's really like he went into the lab and was like, okay, I'm gonna say this shit that's just gonna like annoy the fuck out of Theo. I mean, no one in his chat was like going with this. I wonder if like anyone even commented on this. Kingmakers looks insane. Okay, no one cares. Literally no one's caring. Let's do newest first. That's the top. Okay, yeah, no one gave a fuck.
But it's literally just getting a laugh or getting a good story out of it, right? Everyone gets something different out of it, but everyone wants to have fun. That's number one.
Okay.
Okay.
But
number two,
this is such bullshit. He says it's subjective and this and that. And he's gonna go right into saying how Lost Records is boring, but what if I had fun with it? So it's still by definition fun. Like, this is why it's a waste of time, and why this is a waste of time, where he goes through the checklist of what other people find fun in video games. I don't care about their opinions because I'm watching the Level 1 podcast, unfortunately. So I want DSP's opinion. So why are we talking about what Billy may find fun in a video game? But he's doing this to pose the question, oh, why do we play video games? Like, it's not even that deep of a question.
number two, for the most part, when you're playing a video game, you're trying to create a fantastic scenario that wouldn't be possible in real life. A fantastic
scenario.
Because what's the...
This is so stupid. This thirst of fantasy scenarios. I mean, let's listen to this.
Point of playing a video game if it's just simulating your real life, right? Like, would you want...
This is the guy that plays Flight Sim. He plays the Forza games that are boring. Like with the Horizon games, and he's like, we're driving in London. Look at London, guys. Oh, dude, they have a cafe over in London. Wow. So Flight Sim, Horizon. He played Animal Crossing for a bit, and that was a little too fun. So I mean, he played it for a little bit. But he played all these other sim-like games, and he's like saying like, I want games with a fantastic scenario. dude, you play sim games. Like, and again, this is purely him not respecting the medium. Because again, if video games are art and should be taken seriously, then that also would mean you can have video games that exist to be purely for video game's sake. That, hey, the story's whatever, the gameplay's the focus. Ah, Ninja Gaiden. Like, Ninja Gaiden has the dumbest story. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about the story, but it's about the gameplay. The FromSoft games, like, hey, the story is there, and I'm sure it's great, but obviously people are picking up FromSoft games for the gameplay. The story is like, it's like, it's mostly the atmosphere, like that's what people are vibing with that game, but it's just the difficulty, the gameplay. But some people like the other games where it's like, okay, this is a little bit more focused on story, whatever. So like all these things can coexist. Like come on now, dog.
Do you want to play a video game where all you do is sit in an office clicking buttons, entering data into a spreadsheet, making
There
phone
are games
calls
like
to
that,
customers?
dude. There's literal visual novels as fucking video games. Visual novels, like not like, for some reason, I don't know if I heard through DSP or whatever, but people keep comparing like Persona to visual novels, and I was like, I don't know about that. Maybe Persona 3 Portable would make sense because they had no cutscenes in that game. It's all visual novels, I think. But there are literal games with no gameplay, and it's just you're reading text on screen, and the gameplay you get mostly like in the Silver Case, you're just walking around clicking on things, but the story's mostly done through reading. Like, that's all you're doing, like, 90% of the time. So, if you're saying, like, well, if you're just playing a game and you're just pushing buttons, like, that's technically a video game, to be honest. But he's, like, doing office work in a video game. I mean, that could be fun because of how it's presented to the gamer. Like, they're not gonna literally put you in a desk, desk office. I mean, there's Papers, Please. This is Papers, Please. All you do in that game is just, like, look at people's passports, and then like you say, oh, this guy is a terrorist, and you mark it or whatever the fuck. Like, isn't that what Papers, Please is? You're just either like, whatever. You're look at documents in that game.
Things you get paid for in the real world as a job. Why would you want to do that in a video game? If you look at some of the video games that are simulators, they're not realistic. For example, Power Wash Simulator.
No video game is realistic. Well, like, this is like so insane to get to the point he wants to make, and all he's making is, we play games so we can live in fantasies. Like, dude, then read a book.
Later, all right, is not realistic to being a real power washer.
This is like getting mad that there's I always fuck up nonfiction and fiction. I think fiction is made up and nonfiction is real. It's like getting mad at like nonfiction for existing. Like, oh, this book is about a real person. I don't care about that. Where's the fantasy?
Because I've actually power washed my driveway before. It was incredibly tedious. It was incredibly boring, and it took too much time. Power Wash Simulator is like a very streamlined, catchy, addictive version of that makes it fun because it's a fantasy version that's, changed around to actually be entertaining.
Okay.
Get it?
Then why haven't they done a lawnmower game? Lawnmower Simulator.
Now,
come on.
In regards to that, Lost Records starts off with an interesting premise. A group of friends who haven't met each other since the summer of 1995 have received a mysterious package referencing that summer and threatening them. So they want to get together in the present day to not only try to remember and reminisce what happened during the summer, but try to figure out what this package could possibly be.
Whoa.
Okay?
Okay.
That's interesting. I like that premise.
Yeah,
right?
that's how they hook
But then
you.
what's happened is, with the game, Lost Records, along the way, they lost the idea that a video game is supposed to be fun. And
dude, Lost Records is a narrative-driven game. Like, this dude is so dumb. When you're trying to tell a narrative or a story, you're gonna need the boring stuff. But the the thing that is like truly insane about this is that he's been playing this game, and it's hard to take him seriously when he criticizes anything about the story in Lost Records, because when games have segments where characters are having fun, they're just doing dumb shit, they're flirting, they're dating, whatever, like stuff that's like that doesn't move the story forward, but it just focuses on the characters. That stuff is like meant to make you get some kind of investment with the character. And this dude, every time he plays these games and it asks him to like flirt back or whatever, like, this is so cringe. Oh my god! And it's like, dude, like they're at a bar, like and they're talking with each other. Like naturally, this is gonna happen. Like, don't you care what happens? And he always sees it as like some kind of like, oh, this is in because it's for the people who like want to get simulated relationships, which isn't the point. Like he only had a point when it came to the Yakuza games, Like a Dragon, whatever, that has the Hostess Club mini games. But those are like mini games. Those are things that are like that have no plot relevance unless the games that takes you there to teach you the game, basically, whatever. Sometimes they do that within the story, but it gets relegated to like just a mini game after the fact. But it's like there's no narrative there. It's just there just for fun, basically. But when he plays like if you were to play Persona 6 and those have S links and that's gonna lead to like romance, he's gonna cringe and not care about that. But it's like you're playing the games, you're role playing as this character. Like, don't you care about like the party and the other characters and and all this other stuff? Like these are like things that you can layer on top of the character to kind of have like another sense of immersion with what you're playing. But in the case of Don't Nod and like Lost Records, it's there just so that you know the characters and you can like feel something about the characters than just, oh, they're doing a mystery. Like the whole time he's been playing Lost Records is just him making fat jokes. Like he relegated a character. Like, this is the thing. I kind of want to do a stream rewatching his Lost Records playthrough. I may do that at some point, so that's gonna happen someday. But he like relegated the main character to just being the fat kid and just kept making jokes about her being fat. And it's like, I'm sure there's more going on with this character than just she's fat. But every time she even mentions snacks, oh my god, she's so fat! And it's just like, you're kind of like diminishing like all the stuff that's in the game, and you're not really paying attention. So when he talks about the story and the pacing and this and that, I can't take him seriously because he doesn't like care about what he's playing.
Also is supposed to be a fantasy setting. And here's what I mean by that. All right. Yesterday I played Lost Records, and I shit you not, out of the almost 3 hours that I played it, about 2 hours and 45 minutes was spent doing the most menial, commonplace, trite, boring shit
words
that I've ever done in a video game.
Descriptions.
To the point where, I'm not kidding, I was falling asleep trying to play.
Dude, he fell asleep during Like a Dragon. And the thing is, he played Like a Dragon the other night. This was Thursday night. And he has that like sleep like filter he added, which, okay, if you want to like only meme that's fine, I guess. But he kind of ran it into the ground, and it's not funny anymore because now it's just like clown mode, basically. But the thing that's frustrating about it when it came to that Like a Dragon stream, he was doing it at like the beginning of the stream. And it's like, dude, you just started and you're watching one cutscene. Like, at least use it when like it makes sense, not immediately. Like that, like he has no timing for jokes, like at all. if any. Like, I'm not saying I'm a funny guy or I'm a comedic genius, but even I can time a decent joke once every like millennium.
Trying to play it because it was so uninteresting.
Unfun.
You are in a
Interesting.
garage with your friends who are just dicking around, pretending like they know how to play music when they really don't. It sucks.
Dude, he like cringed at the music that was playing. Now he turned streamer mode on, so who knows like if they're gonna play a licensed song. I think like the song that they play is probably like their own music anyway, so it's like you know that's probably what you were listening to regardless. But I mean again, like you could have put like let's say Pink Floyd. They put Pink Floyd in like Lost Records episode 2, and let's say that DSP doesn't know who Pink Floyd is. He somehow does not know what a Pink Floyd is. And then they play like The Wall. You're like, this is so cringe. It's so terrible. And he'd like hate it and like rip his ears off and like cry about it. Because this dude just is so like you know, I did a stream a few years ago, and I was listening to this one song, and then someone in my chat was like, "Oh my god, this is hipster music." I'm like, you know, I don't give a fuck if it's good music. I'm gonna listen to it. If I like this song, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna like fucking tailor my taste to like, oh my god, that one dude said that's hipster music. Cooked. It's like, no, I'm just gonna like listen to it. Whatever. It's, you know, good music is good music. But this dude will put on like Life is Strange, any Don't Nod game, and if it's like some hipster style music, do you think, oh my god, it's terrible, oh my god, and it's like you can't take him seriously when he like fucking goes on these little crybaby segments.
Sucks. Great. Did anything happen?
But like, this is how dumb he is. This is how baby brain this dude is. So it's a mystery as to like you're trying to figure out what's going on that summer, whatever. So you're seeing them like do a band, they're singing music, they're hanging out. Like this is stuff that makes you like think about what could the reveal be. Instead, this dude is so like uninterested in anything in life. It's so funny to me. Like he plays like Silent Hill 2. He played like God of War 2018. This is my favorite one, right? And those of you remember, you may remember this. He theorized in God of War 2018 that Atreus was an hallucination. Like, oh, I think Kratos is so fucked up he hallucinated that he had a son, and you know he's gonna be like, whoa, and then you find out that like it's actually his son, you know, whatever, because he was hallucinating anyway. But that was like the only time he like engaged with a video game, but there was no mystery or premise that was the case. He's playing a game that is like something happened that summer. What could it be? Okay, you're playing episode 1. You're going back in time. You're seeing them like hang out as kids during that time and this and that. And he's not using that time to think like, oh, what if it's this? Like, dude, they're playing a band. What if like one of them got like famous and something happened or whatever? Like he's not engaging with the mystery that's in the game. Like that's why they have these segments.
No.
Like that's why you see them do band practice and all this stuff so that you can like think about what you're experiencing. But he just automatically cringes because he thinks it's like some like simulation style part of the game when it's there to like get you engaged. Like it would be monotonous if you read a story and they just do constant like plot, 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 plot. It's like, geez, man, like fucking calm down. I've been rewatching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood lately because you know I watched it like once when it was new and I you know kind of like was on and off with it, and I never watched it in order, so it was always just like whatever. But now I'm watching it and you know this thing came into my mind as I'm watching it. Like I'm like, I'm watching it on Hulu because it's all like, it's all there. So I'm on episode, like I'm right before like I just made it to the interlude party. It's the episode where Hohenheim like thinks about the past, where he like reminisces his origin story, basically. That episode. But I was like watching this, and I'm thinking some of the plot points feel like they kind of happen way too fast. Like, it's an old anime. I'm gonna spoil it. Look, if you haven't seen it, like, it's 2025. Get with the times, buddy. But I feel like the reveal of Emperor King. No, I don't think they call him Emperor. It's just King Bradley. King Bradley was a homunculus. I thought that happened way earlier. Like, I was like, this happened way too fast. I thought like it was gonna happen much later. I thought it was gonna be a bigger reveal, but instead they reveal him being a homunculus when he was fighting Greed. I was like, this seems way too early, because at that time I feel that none of the characters were thinking about a government conspiracy at that time. Like, maybe it was in passing, but they only started thinking about that once they saw like King Bradley there. But it's like, well, why shouldn't this have happened a little bit later? Like, there was I don't know, it just felt very fast to me. Like, in every episode so far seems to be just constantly moving the plot forward, which is fine. But the point is, like, sometimes they want to like space it out so that it's not. Oh my god, who the fuck's calling? All right, see, that was an actual important phone call. For once in this channel's existence, there was actually a reason to pick up the phone. I know, guys. There's always a first time for everything. It wasn't anything bad, nothing like, earth shattering. But I just had to pick it up. You just sometimes you get a phone call and you're like, oh shit, I gotta pick it up. I gotta talk to people. So I talked to them, and now we're back in hell. We're back. I don't see if the audio works, because sometimes
You waste like an hour.
Okay, good. All right, all right. I don't know if I was in the middle of a thought. So
Pretending like they know how to play music when they really don't. It sucks.
Okay.
Great. Did anything happen? No.
Yeah, but this okay. So this is, as I said, like this was stuff to like feed the mystery of like what's going on, to understand the characters. Again, this is episode 1. Like, I bring up Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I say, oh, sometimes I feel like things are going too fast. But on the other hand, though, like, I'm like, what? I want to say like I'm 20 so episodes in, because Hulu has it all in one season. Like, Netflix has it in parts, so I'm just watching it all in one thing. But so I'm like 20 something whatever episodes into Full Metal, and it's like, yeah, I mean, some stuff I feel that has been rushed, but there's other stuff that's been like feeding other things as well. Like, it's just drip feeding stuff. But like the first episode 1 of Full Metal Alchemist isn't like, all right, okay, the mom is dead. Ed and Al, did some fuckery. Al's down with armor. Okay, King Bradley's here. Okay. Oh, he's a homunculus. Oh shit. Then there's 2 Hohenheims. What the fuck's up with that? Like, they don't like show you that immediately. They kind of like slowly walk you into that. They don't show you the fucking Chimera monster in like episode 1 and then like just drop all that on your lap. They build it. They build up on that, and they get you to like get a better understanding of the characters. This dude, with every fucking game, every story, every anything, when a game dares to do some downtime shit, he's like, oh my god, this is so stupid. To bring up the hot topic, everyone's favorite video game, Dragon Age the Veilguard. As much as people like bemoan the dialogue, and I agree the dialogue can be better, but the overall notion of like, okay, yeah, there's a war going on, but they're taking the time to talk about other stuff like that's there just to break up the monotonous. Like, you're not gonna want to sit there and just be constantly drilled in like all this kinds of stuff necessarily. Like, some stories do that and they want you to feel rattled by that, but others is like, yeah, you're we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna drip feed that. We're gonna put in some stuff that's gonna pace it out. Like there's a lot of shows even do that in its DNA, so because they know what to do. Like if there's a drama comedy show out there, they know when to do drama, and they know when to do comedy. They're not gonna all right, the mom died. Okay, let's have a fucking gag right after. It's no, this is an important thing. Let's take some time to recover from that. Then we can do some stupid shit. But this dude doesn't get that. He doesn't get the pacing. But again, this is episode 1. It's meant to build the mystery and get you invested in the characters. I don't think it's gonna be a stretch that episode 1 will end on a massive cliffhanger and make you want to know what happens next, because they're gonna sell episode 2 later this year probably. Secondly, it's gonna probably be the climax of it. They're not gonna solve everything in one episode. That wouldn't make sense. So it's very obvious that they're doing this just to give you a feeling for the characters, and you can get invested. They're not gonna kill anyone off in episode 1 and the beginning of it, because you're not gonna feel anything. If I'm writing a story, I'm all right, here's Billy and Sally. Okay, episode 1, Billy dies. Sally kills Billy. And that's it. You're gonna be should I have cared? What was that about? Sure, that could be enticing to kind of work your way to why that happened, but initially you're gonna be what? You're gonna be confused. So why would they just throw constant action in this narrative-driven game that want to give you a set for the characters?
You waste an hour doing that. Then you go to the forest and you walk around the forest and you're just talking and nothing happens the entire fucking time you're in the forest. And in fact, here's the thing that's different between a previous Don't Nod game in Life is Strange versus
man. Get ready.
Lost Records.
Get ready for this.
In Life is Strange, yes, you have menial, trite happenings. You're a kid at a school, a boarding school, and there's all these kind of teenage things happening, teenage angst relationships, and commonplace angst happenings and conversations.
It's so cringe. He keeps calling anything to do with romance or whatever as teen angst. Isn't angst just an emotion of rebellion or anger? Why is that in relation with relationships? I don't think people are angry when they get into a relationship. Do people get mad when they're when they have a crush on someone? I mean, maybe sometimes people get mad and get to be flirting, I guess. But it's no, it's oh my god, I want to fucking date you, bitch. And they're just yeah, bitch, let's go to the fucking movie, bitch, yeah. Sorry, I have as I said, Mega 64 did that. Mega 64 did that The Room stream where they kept rocking a room, and one of the sound clips they had was The Rock saying "Shut up, bitch," and that's been stuck in my head, on and off, just randomly. It will be out of my head, and then next day I wake up I just started laughing "Shut up, bitch." I kind of want to add that to my stream deck. I gotta find it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it someday.
But then things get serious. One of the students commits suicide, and you're wondering why. You realize you have time manipulation.
I mean, I don't think this dude kind of butchered Life is Strange story.
Relationships and commonplace, happenings and conversations. But then things get serious. One of the students commits suicide, and you're wondering why. You realize you have time manipulation powers you're an X-Man. Okay?
But whatever.
And you're using these to save lives, to stop violence, to manipulate the timeline, and find out what's actually going on at your school with this murder mystery.
But see how dumb this is? Look how he described it! I didn't pick up on this initially, but when it came to, the world building, dialogue, characters talking amongst themselves, backseat garbage bullshit. Time manipulation! Oh, going around in time and fucking mysteries, dude. Like, these are like basic hooks to get you involved, but the other stuff is like there to like give you a sense of the characters. Like, you're not gonna like. I think at the end of Life is Strange, I feel like a lot like this is why people were not very happy with the new one that came out recently, because they kind of I don't remember. I think they tried to make it seem like Chloe was like a bitch or something. Like Chloe like treated Max like, sure, Max be her like shit. It was something like that. But at the end of Life is Strange, the option was like basically let Chloe die, or you can save Chloe, but then like everything dies in like in that or whatever. But when you look at that timeline, they were kind of like decent friends amongst each other, and like the new Life is Strange kind of was like, nah, they sucked, they hate each other actually, or whatever. It was some weird thing that they retconned that people were not happy with. But the reason why they felt that way was because of the chemistry that they had in the fucking first game that made people care about them. But if they didn't have that, and all this stuff, like no one would have cared. Okay, like no one would have cared about the retcon if they didn't have that in the first place.
mystery. Everything I just described is fantastical. It's not realistic. It's not common. It's interesting because it's not something that you could really do in real life. You know what?
But like the time manipulation was interesting only in the context of like you can undo a choice, but there's also limitations of doing it. So it had a gameplay mechanic that was different, but but that's not enough. Like again, Life is Strange is a narrative driven game, so it was just enough to where it's like it's not breaking the game, but you don't really do anything amazing with it. Like you're still on a rail to get to the end of the episode, like whatever. Uh, but they have done games that didn't have time in it, like any supernatural nonsense. But this is really like it really shows that DSP is a kid who loves dangling keys. He loves dangling keys. Like the fact that like everything that when Life is Strange was new, like even people that I don't think play a lot of games. I think I played more games than most of my friends, comparatively. They were talking about the games like, oh, dude, this game is amazing. Like, has good like mystery and this and that. They liked it. They liked that they could also compare like all this stuff about it. But it was like, but they were more engaged with the story and the dialogue and the stuff that's going on. DSP was more focused on, dude, this has time manipulation. Wow, shiny colors.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
It's something that you need to play a video game to experience. And that's what makes Life is Strange unique. Okay? Lost Records.
But it's not. It's technically not unique. There's been other time manipulation games before Life is Strange. Like this has been around before because wasn't I know about Time Splitters. I haven't played I played like once and then I dropped it. But I remember Time Shift. Remember that game? Yeah, that game, that great game everyone always talks about. That had a time mechanic to it. So like the idea of like going backwards and forwards in time isn't like new or innovative. So again, when Life is Strange came out, like I don't think a lot of people cared that much about the time manipulation itself. It was more about like the whole package. Like it was the story, it was the storm that was like approaching and all this stuff. Like that's what a lot of people talked about. But this dude is like, dude, time manipulation, you're like an X-Man.
Records has you walking through a forest. Okay? And you're doing nothing. You're not even doing anything.
Dude, he literally plays games that don't even have stories. He played Flight Sim. Does that have an engaging plot or story? Was something going on every time he played it? No. But then, like, that's what I don't get, right? The thing he highlights about Flight Sim is getting to see the world and all this stuff, but he could do that literally with Google Maps. He could do that in any numerous ways for free. But he wants to do it in Flight Sim. But when it comes to hiking, which he'll never do anyway. That is dumb, man. Okay.
Anything that's meaningful to the people there, You're literally just killing time in the forest. And in fact, to simulate gameplay,
But this is like really stupid though, because like listen to this, right?
you're not even doing anything that's meaningful to the people there.
The meaningful aspect of this, like, I'm assuming I never played Lost Records, I don't know much about it, so I'm a little bit ignorant on this. I'm going to assume, right, as I said before, I mean, I talk about like world building and all this stuff. It's probably so that you can like get some kind of like connection with the characters in their relationships, platonically or not, right? But it's there to get you like invested in these characters and what they're about. Like, not everything has to be super duper meaningful. Like, you know, sometimes they show in movies a dude driving a car to go to a supermarket. Yeah, that's not a meaningful scene, but sometimes you need that there to like pass time. Okay, this is stupid, guys. I got a text message, guys. These scam texts are getting ridiculous. They're like, dude, you have an unpaid toll. You're avoiding tolls. We're gonna get you. Click this link. Click link 99.to./zz/19. Totally not malware. And I'm like, what? This is bullshit. When can this stop? I don't remember this ever happening before. Oh my god, I'm getting derailed by the universe today.
You're literally just killing time in the forest. And
What was I saying? Yeah, in the force. It's probably just so that you get an idea for the characters in this and that. Like, I mean, yeah, movies have scenes that's just transitionary. Like, these are just scenes to show a character from point A to point B. It's not like meaningful, but it's there so that you have some continuity with where the character is going. And this dude would sit there and be like, this is not meaningful. This is not a meaningful scene. Like, there has been movies where it's like, there have been sometimes I would watch a movie and it's like, okay, the movie seems long, but I don't know what to cut. Like, you know, sometimes there are scenes that you want to see, like, it should be a shorter movie, but like, all the scenes are really good. I saw The Brutalist a few months ago. And The Brutalist was pretty good. It's a 3.5 hour movie. It's a very long movie. But it was actually like engaging. Like, I didn't even notice the time like flowing by. It was actually an interesting movie. I liked the cinematography. I liked everything about it. But every scene there was kind of, you know, was valid. It was very important. But none of the scenes were like, oh my god, this was super meaningful. But it was still nice to have some of these scenes because if you take them out, it kind of takes away the impact. Because like half the my reason I loved The Brutalist was the architecture that they showed in that movie. Like, some of the scenes, like, that movie is coded in brutalism. It's everything about it. Everything about it.
And in fact, to simulate gameplay, they have the main character, Swan, using her camcorder to try to document things in the forest. So she's
I like how like filming to document stuff. That is a facade of gameplay or whatever, but the time manipulation is not a facade of gameplay, because again, all these games are on some kind of rail. Like, you're still gonna get to like some kind of like plotline that everyone is gonna see. So like, this is the Telltale conundrum where it's like, yeah, you want to give like the player choices that are gonna matter, but they can't matter too much because it can't impact the overall story. Like, you can rewind time all you want, but to a degree, you're still gonna get two endings by the end. And this is why people like also like got disappointed with Life is Strange by the end, which I wasn't, because I knew there was no way you were gonna have a game with like infinite endings or whatever. Like, there was just no way that would happen. But it does like hold your hand to get you to the conclusion that it wants you to get to.
she's filming the wildlife. She's trying to film a nature scene and this and that. And that, okay, I get it. But if that's the case, right? Why don't they just have you do that instead of the guys that this is like a
What?
game? Just
I don't understand this. I almost, this was another thing because I did think of this at one point, but then I scrapped it for the Iron Chef Sakai thing. But and I almost missed this. Listen to this.
Why don't they just have you do that?
So he's saying that they have this facade of gameplay of him of her using a camera, and he's like, why don't they have you just do that? So he wants a story that focuses on more than one character to just axe all of the interactions with those characters and just have her take pictures. So then how would they all be involved then? Like you're taking out a like you have like a fucking vehicle and you're taking like one part of the engine that the engine needs to run because you don't think it's necessary. And then you realize, oh fuck, the engine's falling apart. It's just like pulling one piece of the of Jenga, and then like the whole thing comes crashing down.
Instead of the guys that this is like a game, just have you go around and it could be Pokemon Snap. Like, to be fair, I actually think the game would be better if it were Pokemon Snap.
But it's not.
You know what I mean?
Like this is really stupid. It's not Pokemon Snap. Why is he saying this should be like Pokemon Snap? It's not Pokemon Snap. It's Lost Records. It's trying to tell a narrative story. So of course it's gonna have all these other segments in it.
The fact that they're trying to hide that the game is an incredibly boring plot line behind Pokemon Snap gameplay is kind of laughable. I almost wonder, did they make this game without the camcorder first?
What?
And it was so incredibly boring plot line behind Pokemon Snap gameplay is kind
So now he's saying that the Pokemon Snap is to distract you from the boring plot. But it's not. Like, no one, like, dude, Donut's been very transparent that this was a narrative driven game. Like, all their games are narrative driven. All of them. There aren't, like, Vampire or whatever the fuck. But, like, Life is Strange, Lost Records, these are all narrative driven games. So, like, it's not that they're trying to hide it. It's very obvious it's a narrative driven game.
is kind of laughable. I almost wonder, did they make this game without the camcorder first? And it was so fucking boring that then they went back and retooled it to add the camcorder in to say, here's gameplay. Because without the camcorder, I don't think anyone could actually stay conscious during the game. It's actually that boring. Like, it was such a shame because
see, like this dude is like so close to figuring it out that with anything, video games, movies, whatever, things exist for a reason. Like things play out the way that they do to like benefit the person who's experiencing it. That's why you have like highs and lows in anything. You watch a TV show, there's gonna have like episodes where a lot's going on, a lot of mysteries going on. Then the next episode, it takes a break from that and focuses on other subplots. Like, you know, there was one episode where the like, to bring back the Full Metal guys, Bradley's like, okay, yeah, I'm reassigning Hawkeye to be my assistant person, my bodyguard or whatever. Lol, and it's like, okay, what's gonna happen with that? Next episode, they don't bring up Hawkeye at all because obviously, like, you know that hey, we're done with that. Let's focus on other stuff that's going on that's more pressing, whatever. And now there's gonna be like a flashback about the Hohenheim thing. So it's like these are done to like pace it out. So like it's just not nonstop, whatever. Lost Records is a video game. So it has a plot line that wants to pace itself out. So it has like, okay, we gotta develop these characters. We gotta introduce these characters and how they like bounce off each other. And then she's also like a cinematographer. Like all of these things are meant to get him engaged into thinking what could have happened, and he's just not thinking about it, at all.
because it started off with an interesting premise in the first stream I did. And then yesterday I was so fucking bored because nothing happened. And here's the funny part. 2.5 hours I'm playing this, right? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And then finally, in the last like 10, 15 minutes, something happens. They found a cabin in the woods. It was rickety. It was old. There were weird symbols all over it. And it's very comparative to like the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that. Like, oh, this is cool. Where's this going? Well, it lasted 15 minutes, the segment, and then it ended, and I ran out of time and couldn't complete or continue with the stream.
Okay.
You know?
But that's
So
how
very
they get you.
well, some interesting stuff could actually happen. And in fact, some people have confirmed it will. Like the next stream, which will be my final stream of Lost Records, will
It
actually have
wasn't, by the way.
interesting stuff happening. They basically crammed it all into the very tail end of this game.
Yeah, so they can
Um,
get you to buy the second
but why on
episode.
earth they thought it was a good idea to actually have 2.5 hours of absolutely nothing meaningful happening?
Again, it's hard to take him at his word when he says nothing happens during that time when he doesn't like care at all about anything. Anytime that a character's like that gives you a hint of like romance or anything, just a hint, he cringes and like rolls his eyes so hard that his eyes go behind his head. Like that's how he acts. So it's like when he says nothing's going on, it's hard to take him at his word because again, he's he's not engaging with the characters or anything.
I have no idea. So, as I'm saying, the reason that video games are interesting is because you're doing something in a game you couldn't necessarily do in real life and it translates to something fun. In real life, you could get together with your friends in a garage right now and pretend like you're a garage band and play horrible music.
But I can't.
You could literally go to the woods and walk.
I love how he says this is so accessible, but when he was playing this game, like, oh, they have an app? How can they afford that? Who's buying all this stuff? All this stuff. He kept like mocking. He kept like questioning their finances. Despite that, like they could have had a job, they could have done this, whatever. But if that was the case, like if this is so expensive, then how would anyone be able to become a garage band and play awful music? Like this is really dumb. This is not a good argument at all. And I like how it says that they're playing music that's bad. Like anyone that gets into a garage band, they don't practice, they don't try to improve, they just play bad music and that's all they do. Like I mean, I guess that says a lot about him because DSP thinks he's a good gamer and he still games. You know what I'm saying?
Walk around and do absolutely nothing. You could do that right now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need a video game to simulate that. Those are realistic actions, right? Like, imagine
This is so lame when like what was it? He played Stray and he has a cat. I love Stray. It's a cat game. But you have a cat in real life. Why are you playing Stray, Phil? I thought you don't like simulated things that you could do in real life.
imagine you bought a game and it was making lunch simulator. And all it is you walk into a kitchen, you open your fridge, you grab ingredients like lunch meat, cheese, condiments,
Man, this
bread.
lunch meat sandwich
Then you
thing
sit
is
down
so
at a table
weird. But
and you have
whatever.
plates, and you set out the ingredients, and you butter the bread, and you do this, you make the sandwich, right? There you go. And then that's it. Once you're done, it's over. That's it. You win. Game over.
That could be an
Would you
indie
buy
game.
that game? Or
Well,
would you actually go to your real life kitchen and just do it? Because
but
then
I'm
you'll
not
actually have a
hungry.
real sandwich to eat at the end. You didn't pay money to do it, and you
But
didn't
like,
waste your.
but they could make that game, and then people go, okay, I'm gonna, yeah, let's, and then the game could say like, hey, you can use anything in the refrigerator, like whatever. You're like, okay, I'm gonna like make a fucked up sandwich. Let's put like, not onions, cranberries, figs, bananas, pork. Like you just put dumb shit, soda, put Coca-Cola in it. Why not? Then that's a sandwich.
Waste your
Right?
time. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you want to do those things that you're doing in Lost Records, you could just do them in real life.
But again, this is not. That doesn't make any sense. The stuff that happens in Lost Records is there to like be a vehicle for the plot and for the characters. Like, yeah, you could do that in real life, but like, this is a story of these characters. Like, not see this. Like, not everything is about simulating what you can't do in real life. Like, that's not what video games are. As I said before, like, this is the dude that says video games are art and should be taken seriously and all this other bullshit. But if that's the case, then that means that video games can be whatever. Like, they can be like that whatever. This is something that they made because they want to tell a story. They're not making it to simulate whatever the fuck. They're doing it because it's like, hey, we want to tell a story and this and that. Like, was there ever a need at like, okay, they need to have like magical powers, yellow tape, uh, and one of the characters would say like quips about solving puzzles or whatever. Like it's a story about a mystery that's been going on in the summer that they're trying to figure out. Like there's no idea of like any simulation. It's so weird, right? Like, and it started off. It's so funny, right? This like randomness of, oh, they simulate this and that started literally with Yakuza, like a dragon. Though that was when it all started, because he started saying that these things are there to like simulate relationships and this that, and it just got weird from there to the point where we're here now.
And you could actually have something meaningful come out of it. You could actually have friends and spend time with them and
But
have a
again,
relationship.
you're playing a game about friends that something happened in 1995 and they're trying to figure out, and you're seeing what's going on in 1995. Like, that is the point. They're friends in the story. So what kind of story would it have been? Okay, so like let's think about what he's saying here. That let's say that someone at Dotenut said, "Hey guys, let's not do this. Like they can hike in real life. Let's not do that." Okay, so let's just not have friends. Well, let's not, because that'd be a simulation. So then, how are we gonna do a story about friendship? Let's give them superpowers. Like that kind of like doesn't like solve the problem, because the problem would be, how are they friends? So how can you convey that they're friends if you don't show them being friends? Correct?
Relationship that's ongoing that could benefit you. You don't need a video game to simulate mundane.
And this is also weird too. As I said, as anyone else would say, no one hangs out with friends to get a benefit. Who the fuck does that? Yeah, man, I would hang out with you, but I don't get a benefit out of it. So, like, I think that's where we're gonna have to end it. Like if he ever really truly divorces Kat, is he gonna just tell her, Kat, I'm just not benefiting off of this marriage, so I'm just gonna cut the fat. Like, who talks like this? Like, you can have friends in real life and get a benefit. What's the benefit? Friendship? I mean, like, but you're implying that you're being friends for a benefit. It's so weird. You see how weird that is?
Mundane things that you could do in your real life. And in fact, I'm going to go as far to say, I actually think a game like this could be harmful, because what happens is
This is so insane. Like this part, it like goes off a cliff. It went from saying that the game is boring and it's not entertaining, which on one hand it's like, okay, that's a reasonable complaint. However, it's coming from DSP, where it's like it's a very biased, uninformed, I guess uninformed person, or unreliable. He's an unreliable person to listen to, because he doesn't care. He plays a game that's about friendship and friends in the past, and something happened back then, and he doesn't care about them being friends. Like, why are you playing a game then? Like that's like me saying, yeah, I'm watching Full Metal, but I don't really like care about like their issue with like their father, the whole thing with like Al's body gone. Like, dude, he's a suit of armor. Why would I care about them trying to get his body back, dude? His armor is cool. Like, that's just not engaging with the story at that point. Oh, why are we talking about Ed and Winry? That's stupid. Oh, we're gonna talk about Goku and Goku and Bulma, Goku and Chi-Chi. That's dumb. Ew. Just have Goku beat someone up, man. Like, you're just not engaging with what you're watching. Like, you don't have to sit there and be analytical to hell or anything like that, but the most basic people can watch anything and at least understand on the surface of why these scenes exist. People have been playing Lost Records to some degree. I would assume they understand why they're having scenes with them hanging out, right?
Is this is normalizing making a virtual situation for something that you should be doing in person.
See, it's so insane. Like I really could do a whole hour ranting about this because he's saying it's that them having scenes of them doing hikes and all that is harmful because people can't go on hikes. I mean, you realize that going on hikes, may not be the most accessible thing for a lot of people. Not talking about like paraplegics or anything like that. I'm saying like in general, like if you live in the city, let's say, you're not gonna go to a hiking trail that easily. Like it's not. You have to plan a date for that if you live in the city. Secondly, like you have to find out which hiking trail's good. You have to like. There's a lot of stuff to think about when it comes to that. I mean that's just very basic shit. But to say that this is harmful is lunacy when literally DSP's main argument is that he plays video games for the fantasy, which is also unhealthy. Like, he's saying that it's unhealthy to simulate stuff that people can do in real life, but it's also unhealthy to bury yourself in fantasy so deeply that you don't want to even acknowledge reality. Like, and this is what people are joking about with DSP, by the way, that he's delusional and he's like in a fantasy world. But when he goes on these kind of rants, it comes off that way very easily. The fact that he's doubling down on wanting that he plays video games for the fantasy and all this, it's really it's kind of like alarming because I don't think anyone would say it's healthy for someone to like want to reject reality to like go off into fantasy. Like there's always precautionary tales about that. Like even like this again. This is another anime tangent, guys. I know. But even like Ava Rebuild 3.0 plus 1.0 literally even talks about this. Like they literally have a scene where Gendo is explaining like that he had no interest in this and he was talking about the Ava imaginary, which is like literally talking about like the idea of like people like burying themselves in a fantasy they don't want to and they want to reject reality, which Gendo wanted to reject the reality of his wife being dead, basically. Like all this stuff, it's all done symbolically and all that nonsense, sure, but like it's not putting it's not putting Gendo in a positive light that he wants to be left alone. He didn't like socializing. He didn't want to accept reality. He wanted to just focus on the fantasy and all this other stuff. Like these are not like positive traits at all. Like there's even a line where he says like society scorns people who don't want to like participate in society or whatever. Like there's all these things that like talk about this. And he's just like, I play games to be immersed in fantasy and all this stuff, and it's just like it could be easily misconstrued as him wanting to be stuck in his delusions.
For real, right?
And again,
Do you think
like this argument, as I said before, would have made at least some sense when he was talking about like the virtual dating or whatever the fuck in like the Like a Dragon games. However, those are very comedic. Like for the most part, I mean, sometimes they may do some things here and there, whatever. But it's still a mini game. Like the one in Infinite Wealth that DSP like rage quit, basically didn't really finish it. If he like finished it all the way through, he would have seen that it was a whole gag about catfishing. Like that was the whole joke of that minigame. But since he was so repulsed by the idea of a simulated like escort thing, he didn't see it to the end to see that it was just a joke. But this guy just is saying that it's dangerous for games to have immersive like simulated hiking, which is like dumb because the whole point is to have dialogue with the characters. It's a narrative driven game. Of course there's gonna have moments where the characters are talking amongst themselves. Like, why are you playing it then if that's the case?
Do you think it's healthier to have simulated friends that you hang out with in Lost Records and do menial things with? Or should you actually go get those real friends?
This is an insane insane logic to say, right? Like it is unhinged to say that people that are playing this game are gonna find the same uh experience of hiking and socializing in a video game when the scene in question, they're talking about whatever the fuck. You're not even involved in the conversation. You're only choosing dialogue options. But you're doing what the game is telling you. Like this is like and this is the dude that also played Persona games. The games with social links that like you can like even go on like dates with these characters in Persona. But this dude is sitting there like, and you know what? Oh my god, this is it. This segment is like rushing forward all these like DSP segments. This dude was praising and played like Persona 5, the Yakuza games, and said that those games were teaching him about the culture of Japan. I'm playing Lost Judgment. I'm learning a lot about Japanese culture, and I'm just like, dude, you're playing a video game, and you're playing a game like when he's playing like he said that during like a Dragon Yakuza. I'm like, dude, you're playing a game that the hero of the game is a Yakuza. Yakuza are gang members in Japan. Like, I mean, what, right? You know, like they may not be the most reputable people necessarily, but then he plays this game. He has these rants in like a Dragon. Was it Infinite Wealth? He had this? No, it was the first Like a Dragon, Yakuza 7, where Bleach Japan was outside the soap house or whatever the fuck, and he's like, how can they have a soap plant? So like they all know the brothel or whatever, and like they're not in trouble, huh? And it's like, dude, it's a video game. Two, like, even in the video game, they kind of like give you an explanation of why this is. He clearly just didn't care, but he was so immersed in learning the culture of Japan through a video game. And he's telling us it is dangerous for video games to have scenes of characters hiking in the woods. You really can't make this up.
You see my point?
You see my
Like,
point?
there's a difference between, oh, I'm teaming up with people to save the universe from a fantastical race of alien invaders that want to kill us all, or we're walking through the forest.
This is so, like, this dude has got to be, like, aging, like, in reverse mentally. Like, he must be mentally deteriorating. And he's like that is, like, something that, hey, if he was, like, 80 or 70 or 90, like, senior citizen age, I could see that. Like, okay, he's getting up there. But you're seeing that now, and I kind of feel like, it's probably because he's not getting enough challenge in his life, so his brain is not, getting a workout. So his brain is just becoming mush. Like it's losing its wrinkles, basically. Like he's becoming he's becoming a smooth brain, in real time. Because this is insane to even say like this is not a game about an alien race invading, like, which is a very basic conflict. But even like stories that deal with that, they throw in other commentary and like themes or whatever to like make it either more relatable or more interesting. Like a lot of things go into a lot of stories that like you may like appreciate over time, like a fine wine. But like he's playing this game and is like freaking out that there's no spectacle to like latch onto. But the game is just a basic mystery, and you're trying to understand that through like these flashbacks that they're showing you, and he's not thinking about anything. He's not engaging with what they're showing him. And he's telling us that it's more dangerous to like have a simulated hiking segment
doing nothing. You get to a point where it's like, why does this even exist? Right? Like, why was the game made?
while
Does it even serve a purpose?
See, this is the thing. this right here is why I kind of want to make the video. Like this, like the delusional part, like that was like, okay, reason number one. This, well, I guess reason number two, because reason number one was like, it's a don't not game. I always know there's gonna be some weird rant. This sealed the deal. Even like this could have been like next month if I didn't get time to do this video, I would have done it anyway. Because when you unironically pose the question, what point does it serve? You're not engaging with a video game as art or anything, or you're not even engaging with it on a basic level. You're just looking at it as a product. Like that's plain and simple what he's looking at it as just a simple product, which is not good. Surprise, surprise.
I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that. Does a game like this actually serve some kind of like a concrete purpose? I'm not sure.
The purpose is to tell a story about a mystery that happened in 1995, and then people can like buy the game, play it, and then get invested in it, and then like think about it, and then like enjoy the mystery and enjoy the ride. Like, to think of it as a purpose, it's pointless in media because it's not you don't get anything tangible from playing a video game. Like you really don't. You can get like experience. They may ask you. You may like like with a video game, you get the added bonus, right? Of like, hey, you're playing the video game and you're like feeling a sense of accomplishment, whatever. But those are like certain games. But a video game can also give you a moment of like a thought where you're thinking about what you're looking at, and you can like think about it deductively or whatever, right? Like you're engaging with the story. Like people are reading Chainsaw Man right now. Like this current arc that it's on, I think it's the best arc Chainsaw Man has been on ever. Like the other arcs are good, don't get me wrong, but this is my favorite one because you truly just don't know where it's gonna go, and that I'm loving it. I'm loving that it's like, what's happening? What's gonna happen? Like why, where's Asa in all of this? What's Asa gonna do? Like the last chapter, I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait for the next one because it's engaging and it's making me think, because I'm like looking at what's going on in the story. I'm not like, oh, Denji and like Yoru is talking. Oh, this is cringe. Oh, I don't want to look at this. But it's like, no, these are like interesting segments because it's like adding to a lot of stuff that's gonna be like making you like scratch your head even more. It's like you can't have this arc be any good without like these ongoing like dilemmas and this kind of like tension between these characters. But DSP wouldn't get that. He would just be so confused. He would be so confused and be like, I don't know what this is. I give up. Because he's such a little baby. He's a baby. He needs someone to read him a bedtime story before he goes to bed. Like, this dude is so dumb. What purpose does Lost Record show? It's a video game. Like, there can be multiple games. Some just want to give you a fun experience that's just fun. The other one just wants to tell a story. Not all stories can be winners. Not every game can be great and a banger. But sometimes there might be a story that some people may like and enjoy. It's so insane that he's asking, what is the purpose? Like, with that logic, what's the purpose of a streamer? Why should anyone watch DSP when you can play video games in real life? You can play Like a Dragon Pirates in Hawaii right now. You can play that game right now. Why are you watching him play it? Why are you watching him build Legos? You can build a Lego. So, like, if you go down this path of asking what is the point or what's the purpose of anything, everything becomes meaningless. Like, it's so funny that this dude, like, he goes between hedonism and nihilism very quickly. He either wants constant pleasure all the time, or nothing matters.
Because I hope it would, but my question is, who's asking for it? Right? Like, oh, maybe there are a group of teenage girls out there who are, lesbians or whatever, bisexually curious.
Bisexually
and they would like this game. Yeah, but wouldn't they want to just go spend time with
This is weird, right? Like, it's really bizarre to me that he always, for every time when a game comes out that has woke themes or like lesbians in them or whatever, DSP seems, same thing with children. He doesn't want them to have anything. Like, children can't have like any content to enjoy. They can't have videos to enjoy. Like, that should not exist because it's stupid. Even though a kid may enjoy that, no, fuck that. Give them actual cardboard. Hey, Nintendo made this game for everyone. No. What about me, Why are you making them for kids? No, give them cardboard. Let them play in a cardboard box. Like, he talks about kids as if they're cats. But then, like, when it comes to lesbians, it's like, yeah, but like they're a minority, so like why do they need a game? Why shouldn't they get a game? Like, just because they're a minority, like, art is like video game. Like, again, if he wants to make the argument that video games are art, the one thing you have to understand, anyone can enjoy art. And just because like you may not fit the demographic doesn't mean that you can't find something to appreciate. Like, FromSoft will never make a game for me. But I appreciate the games for existing. I appreciate that game, that they make games that don't yield, and they're able to continuously make challenging games, and they've made a record of it. Like, they have the weight and the clout to just say no easy mode, and the developer will just say, oh no, not developer, a publisher will just say, okay, King, go off. But when it's like an up and comer studio that wants to make something, they always have to like abide by the publisher and be at their mercy to get their game to come out. So like, it is kind of a feat for a game that, let's say it was only just for lesbians to even come out in the first place, if they're a minority, correct? But then I'm like this, like, well, shouldn't they be doing this in real life? Well, DSP, like, what if they just want to play a video game? So they can't get this game because you don't see the value in it? Like, and this runs into another, sorry if that made a noise. And this runs into another issue that I kind of have with DSP when he talks about this kind of shit is, who is DSP to determine the quality or meaningfulness of anything? Like, as I said, like, who is he to decide whose content's meaningful and whose isn't, right? Like, who is he? Is he the arbiter of meaningful? No. He can't make that decision. So, and yet he's on his podcast describing how he does not see the value of Lost Records, and he doesn't see why it needs to exist. This is fucking corporate CEO LARPing bullshit. Because if you truly feel that video games are art, you're not gonna care that there may be games that may not appeal to you. Because in general, art is not made for everyone. Art is made for people who either get it or they don't, or they make it so that those who may not like it will be forced to confront what they don't like. I mean, that's all Rothko did, by the way. Rothko literally made those paintings to piss people off. Like, yeah, you're gonna confront these like harsh colors, and you're gonna have to look at that. Like, he wanted those paintings to be in specific restaurants or whatever, so these people who are like eating and they're like snobby or whatever are forced to see these like loud fucking paintings. Like, that's why he made them. That's like a whole principle of that. It so that they can be confronted with that. He wants to say that he likes Don't Nod games because of the mystery aspect and this and that. They make a mystery game, but since it has no spectacle to it, well, why does it need to exist? Off of this game. Delete this game. Even though someone else may find value in it. Yeah, he's saying that there's no value in it. But what if someone did? Well, no, that value is harmful because you can get that same value in real life. This is nonsense.
I'm with their actual friends? Like, why would they want to play a video game of it?
By the way, this is coming from a guy that calls his viewers his friends and says that, guys, you love it when I eat food. We're eating food, guys. We're gonna have a DSP tries it. We gotta decide what food we're gonna eat. Oh man, we're gonna have this. We're gonna have pizza night. This and that. Like, he has all these like weird cult like food segments. Like, back when he had the TMNT event, he kept talking about a pizza party, like a teacher. Like you're going to school and they're like, guys, we have a pizza party today in class. Oh boy. But it's like, no, it's this DSP eating pizza. And so like when you want to rather hang out with your actual friends eating pizza than watching DSP eat pizza, and he always tells us when people say like, why don't you do a giveaway? Well, that's not meaningful. You don't get anything out of it. Only one person gets a benefit. But if you DSP tries it, everyone gets a benefit because I get to eat. Like, is it at that point? Wouldn't it be more beneficial for these fucking idiots who give DSP money to save their money and buy their own food and eat their own food and play their own games? Like, you see how clown world it is to dictate what is meaningful and what people should do with meaningful life, right? When it comes to enjoyment and entertainment. Come on.
I'm just saying, you know? And I feel like every other game I've played that Don't Not is made, right? Vampire, it's about vampires, whatever, right? Banisher, I didn't even play that one, but that one's about like ghosts and souls. Life is Strange. The character has time manipulation
Like
problems.
again, look
Life
at
is
this.
Strange.
He is listing these games. One of them he didn't play, by the way, so that's fun, I guess. But he's like game title, mechanic, Mario, war pipes. Like, okay, I mean, this dude really is the embodiment of the meme. I saw C3PO and I clapped. That is DSP in a nutshell. All of that is all DSP.
Strange 2. The sun is like super strength and speed and shit, right? I
Super strength and speed? He played Life is Strange too. Wasn't it just like I barely remember, but wasn't it just telekinesis? And he was saying he had super strength and speed. Oh my god. I mean, I guess he just got so like his brain got so cooked by that game because the game showed racists and see these racists are racist. So like not everyone's racist, even though like the game didn't say every American is. He just said, hey, these like the range. I mean, whatever. We've talked about Life is Strange 2 1,000 times. You don't need 1,001 times.
I keep going where every one of their games has made more sense than this. This game actually doesn't make sense at all
What?
from a mainstream perspective. Maybe there
From
is
a mainstream perspective, dude, it's a mystery game, and they have these things like this is like truly nonsense. Like he really does not get that stories have these scenes where it's just like downtime or padding or like, hey, nothing's going on, but let's just have like there's an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where it's called The Beach. Nothing happens in that episode. But what is shown in that episode is each character's dynamics with each other and you get to have a feeling for all of them. Like you understand like what's going on in their headspace, and it's interesting just because of the drama that's going on. But DSP would probably see that, this is Teen Angst, oh my god, and ignore the heaviness of everything and just ignore the ending and everything that led to it. Because all these things serve a reason, and sometimes you may not know the reason until the end. So he's writing off all these scenes that he thinks is dumb, like hiking, the band, and for all he knows, at the end of the game, it can reveal that all these things were actually reasons why something bad happened or whatever the fuck. Like, he doesn't know that. Like, all these things are little breadcrumbs to enjoy and like come to a conclusion to something, because that's the point. He really does not get the vehicle of a story like at all or anything, and this dude is like in his 40s and he doesn't get this, and he tells us every day, oh, this game is so meaningful, oh wow man, oh it's so meaningful. But does he know what he's talking about? No, he doesn't know what anything is. Like, it infuriates me. He could talk about God of War all he wants and talk about how meaningful it is. But what's meaningful about it? All he says is, Kratos is a dad. Like that's it. He learned to be a dad, which is like very basic. Like like he is the only one that said that it was groundbreaking and this and that. When everyone else, at least that I listened to, only focus on the aspect that as far as God of War is concerned, it is like an interesting dynamic to change creators from this to something else in this or whatever. Like it's more nuanced. But DSP is just like seal clapping at like, dude, he's a father now. Wow.
Is an incredibly small percentile of people, all right, who can't make real friends, who can't leave their house. I don't know, maybe they're paraplegics or something, right?
I, oh my god, this is so insane. It's so insane to like hinge an entire game saying that this game only exists for people who can't socialize. That is insane. But he doesn't say this when it comes to games like fucking Persona. Again, like the Twitter discourse of Persona, aside from the discourse, that's all I'll say about that. But everyone talks about like how it's ridiculous that some people take it with the fucking like S-links in Persona. Like it's just a fucking fraction of the game, and a lot of people will just talk about it as if it's like the end all be all of Persona, but it's like it's just one portion of it. But those games have actual social like sim aspects to it. You can give fucking characters presents. You can go out, you can take them out on dates or whatever the fuck. You can have like all of them and then they'll all be mad at you, whatever. All these things are in the game. But he never once said, oh my god, guys, Persona might be for people who are antisocial. And secondly, to insinuate that people who can't leave their home are paraplegic. There are people who just can't leave their home because of a lot of like other reasons that are, you know, unfortunate for some people. Like there's a lot of reasons that people may be a hermit, basically. And this dude is sitting there like, well, I guess, you know, that's why, man. But dude, it's a video game. He's basing this off yet again just a simple scene of them hiking and being in a band. This is insane. This dude makes Jack Thompson era seem sensical. The argument of video games make you violent makes way more sense than what DSP is going on about. Like that is insane.
Right? And therefore, this life simulator game,
Dude. Jack Thompson, I don't know if he's dead or not. I don't know what the fuck happened to Jack Thompson. But the man might be gone, but the idea lives on. This dude is like literally fear-mongering video games for having aspects of where characters talk amongst each other. Imagine if this dude was in any position of power where he could like force developers to not make games the way that he doesn't want them to make, right? Let's say that he's in charge of Don't Nod. All these things that people may like. Let's say that someone loves Lost Records, and everything about it. DSP would say, "No, get rid of all of that. Just keep the photo mode. Keep that." Man, so many people would be like, "Oh man, that sucks." And then you have like these little press releases of him saying, yeah, we decided to cut the hiking scene because it was dangerous, because people may not want to go hiking in real life if they hike in a video game. Like that would either like be like, dude, people would be laughing at that game studio and say, wow, these poor devs, they're stuck behind this idiot, forcing them to make games in dumb ways. Like it would just be insane. Like this is insane. Dude, what happened? What happened to this dude's fucking brain? It's completely gone. He's declining so fast. I really worry what's gonna happen when he's 80. When he's actually a senior citizen. Like, dude, someone will be able to like fucking like trick him into doing something stupid. Like, dude, someone is like fucking things like, Phil, this is your son. I need you to give me all your money and your house because I'm gonna die tomorrow. And these people just give him the deed and give him everything. And then like Kat would be like, Phil, why did you give them our house? Well, he's our son. Phil, Jasper died like 20 years ago. What? He's dead? But I just saw it. Because this dude is so gone. He's so gone right now.
You know what I mean? Is that's what the purpose it serves, but that's an incredibly small customer base. For the rest of us, we go into this thinking, oh, it's a narrative-based game from Don't Nod, so it's going to have some interesting fantasy aspects.
I love that this dude who says, I know how to be pigeonholed, and all this stuff. A developer does something more than just Life is Strange, and he's like, this isn't Life is Strange. Wow, how dare Donut try something different? Fucking idiots, right?
Aspects to it that we're going to enjoy. And you play it, you're like, what the fuck am I playing? What did they make? Did they not understand the premise of a video game? I played Mario Brothers because in real life, I can't become a plumber that can jump 40 feet in the air and...
Dude, there are so many games, like, that are not even, like, that fantastical. And he ate them up. But this is too far, man. This is a bridge too far.
Stomp on mutant turtles and living mushrooms. Okay?
Wait, what?
I play life. I can't become a plumber that can jump 40 feet.
Actually, by the way, Phil, Mario's not a plumber. I don't know what Nintendo said that Mario is, but I know they said he's not a plumber.
Air and stomp on mutant turtles and living mushrooms. Okay?
Living mushrooms. I mean, technically, Phil, as I adjust my nerd glasses, mushrooms are alive. They are a living thing. They grow, they reproduce, they even eat. They fucking eat, dude. They fucking feast on things. Mushrooms are alive, my guy. I don't know how to tell you that. I mean, they're not conscious. They can't like solve stuff, but they're alive, like a tree is, right? Correct? Get semantics, bitch.
Okay? I play Gran Turismo because in real life I can't afford the...
Wrong! He doesn't play Gran Turismo because he's not a car guy. Wrong. And he calls it a car sim. That's the kicker. He calls it a car sim. And he won't play because he's not a car guy. But now he's like, I play Gran Turismo because I can't drive a car.
To buy a high-end crazy racer car and actually drive it around. I play Call of Duty because I'm never going to be an actual, secret operative going across the globe using high-end weapons.
Well, you can, Phil. You could just train. Like how people could become band members and not be good at start, but they could become a band. You could become a soldier. Just enlist today. Well, actually, no. He actually can't. He actually may have a point if you think about it, because he has a bad back. I don't think the army would want to deal with him either. They would probably ban Burnell from the army. Like, if you ever get into a draft, they would just say, "Oh, we got Phil Burnell. Go, leave. You don't need to. There was no draft. False alarm. Go." And then like Phil would leave and like, "Okay, the draft didn't stop. Keep coming. You're going to fight." They just tell DSP to go home.
Weaponry to take out
Stay home,
other
Phil. We don't need you.
Operatives. Like, I can't do that in real life. That's why I play video games, to simulate.
Hey, what was the last part about the Call of Duty?
Operative going across the globe using high-end weaponry to take out other teams of operatives. Like, I can't do that in real life. That's why I play video games, to simulate those fantasy situations.
See, this is what I said earlier. This in itself is also dangerous, because you're getting lost in fantasy. When you get so lost in fantasy that you just want fantasy and you don't want like anything that's resembling real life, that just shows you just don't want to accept reality. I mean, it sounds extremely douchey and really like extreme, I guess, to insinuate that DSP may have a delusional problem. But, I mean, he doesn't make it hard. He makes it very easy to come to those conclusions. Like, that's the problem with DSP in a lot of ways. He doesn't make it hard for you to assume the worst. Like, he really doesn't. Dude, he wants to play. He plays video games because he's focused on the fantasy, not like like I play video games because it's fun and I enjoy. I enjoy what's there. Like, there's all these other reasons. Like, there's a reason why I love art books. I'm a huge sucker for art books because I like looking at other people's art styles. All this stuff. Like, these are things that are like tangible. But this dude is saying I play video games for the fantasy, not for the story, not for the or not for anything. Because if you play for the story, it doesn't need to be a fantastical setting to be interesting. Like, Seinfeld is a very like grounded sitcom that people love. Same with Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, does Larry David need to go and grab a lightsaber and fight off aliens from outer space to be interesting? No. Like, it's an interesting story on its own. It's an interesting show on its own because it's funny. All like, if you want to engage into art and you want to say that video games are art and this and that, like this is part of it. Like, it doesn't have to be a fantasy setting to be interesting. Like The Brutalist, I mean, it's not a true story, but it's so believable you think it is. And it's an interesting story. Like, and it's grounded. There's no fantasy elements, there's nothing like bombastic about it. It's so grounded in reality that you could be fooled into thinking it's a real story. Like, that's how good it is. It did not need Aliens to be a good movie. Is it like in DSP's perspective, The Brutalist would be a dangerous movie because there's nothing fantasy about it. I go to the movies for fantasy. Then you're gonna be watching Marvel slop all the time. Like, this dude is arguing for slop. As much as he likes to say, I don't like slap, I don't want slap, no slap, he always makes a stronger argument for slop than anything else.
I don't need a video game to simulate real life situations that can really happen, that I could just do. And that's what this game seems to be. Okay?
Okay.
Anyway, it was I was really disappointed because at the end of the stream that happened, that whole cabin in the woods thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. Now we're out of time." If only they didn't waste my last 3 hours of playtime with bullshit, it would have been an interesting game.
Again,
Like
he
no
thinks it's bullshit for everyone because he finds it bullshit. But what if someone else and got meaningful out of it? Well, that's dangerous. If you find something I don't find meaningful, that's dangerous, and that must be banned.
lie. The first stream was okay, and this last stream they could have actually cut out the garage band segment and the walk
Why?
in the woods segment and just cut right to the cabin, and the game would be a better game.
Why though? Like, this dude would really be set with saying, yeah, they're friends. Like, some people want to see how their friendship dynamic is. Like, sometimes it's more than just saying, hey, that's their relationship, and that's it. Like, you know, they may want more about it. Like, you know, this is what makes characters believable, is when you write about them. Like, you know, that's why, like, Life is Strange, when they have scenes where Max is flirting with other characters to show that she's a bisexual character, that's how it's believable, because she's interacting in, like, in a way that is both tailored by to the gamer. Like, the gamer can tell her to, you know, hey, talk to this person, whatever. But it's done in a way that's like, hey, this is what's Mac's character is about, whatever. They're not just because, yeah, she's bi, okay, yeah, we're gonna have the bar segment, and you're not gonna see any of that. It's like, so we only know she's bi because you told us that. So, like, do you really just want Scare to be like, hi, I'm Billy, I'm gay, what's up? And then that's it. Like, that's what he wants. He doesn't want, like, anything more than that. You know, for their character to be a believable character, because people in real life always say that, right? Okay.
Game. But modern game, direction is a joke in my opinion, especially with what they're trying to do. A lot of these games, we all know that these games are pushing agendas. This game in particular, it's trying to say, oh, this is a game.
Let's hear this again. Oh my god, rat teeth. Rat teeth.
Direction is a joke in my opinion, especially with what they're trying to do. A lot of these games, we all know that these games are pushing agendas.
Well, he should become a game developer. He should direct a game. I want DSP to direct a game.
This game in particular, it's trying to say, oh, this is a game for a different kind of person. This is supposed to be
I
game
love
for
it's pushing an agenda, and I don't even know what agenda it's pushing. The stuff I've seen from him is literally just like, okay, I'm gonna hang out with my friends. Oh, we're moving. You gotta move, fluff butt. The amount of time. Oh my god, this is the one. This is the one thing that was driving me up the wall. The amount of times I kept hearing fluff butt. I was going Joker mode. I was like, dude, if I hear her say fluff butt one more time, I'm gonna like fucking lose it. I'm like, all right, fluff butt. The way she says it's like the DSP effect. The way she says fluff butt just pisses me off. It's like when DSP says bye bye. It's just like fuck this guy. Her saying fluff butt was just like, oh my god, shut up, shut the fuck up,
game
shut
for
up,
either,
bitch.
gay, curious, or bisexual, curious girls.
Wait, what?
Pushing agendas. This game in particular is
Pushing
trying to say,
agendas.
oh, this is a game for a different kind of person. This is supposed to be game for either, gay, curious, or bisexual, curious girls.
I didn't know the ESRB rated for that. Because I assume it's rated E for everyone, but whatever, okay. But it's like, just because a character is gay, I mean, is she gay? Like, did they say that? I don't know. I mean, I guess because like I did see one scene where she called another character Babe, so I'm like, okay, I guess they're a couple. Okay, whatever. But he's sitting there and like be like, oh, I guess it's like, do we act this way when there's a heterosexual couple? Like, when Snake and Ava were fucking in MGS3, we're like, okay, this is pushing agenda. They're saying it's okay for Snake to fuck a lady. I guess that's where we're at in society now. Like, what is this? What is this segment?
Pushing agendas. This game in particular, it's trying to say, oh, this is a game for a different kind of person. This is supposed to be game for either, gay, curious, or bisexual,
So
curious.
how dare they make a main character a marginalized community, whatever, right? How dare that people who are in the LGBT may relate to the main character of Lost Records? How dare they make a game for that audience? What about me, a straight white guy? Come on. What about our representation? You're thinking that Metal Gear is enough? That's one game out of a sea of many. Come on.
Girls, and they can enjoy it because now they can feel like there's a game for them, and they're not.
Wait, what? Oh my god.
Kind of person.
I'm sorry, I'm
this
rewinding
game
this.
for either,
I'm sorry.
Gay, curious, or bisexual, curious girls.
Gay,
they can
curious,
enjoy it because now they can feel like.
Oh my god.
Oh,
guys, I'm very sorry. This is oh man.
this is a game for a different kind of person. This is supposed to be game for either, gay, curious, or bisexual, curious girls, and they can enjoy it.
Gay, curious, bisexual, curious. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Because now they can feel like there's a game for them.
Now they can feel there's a game for them. Like, dude, like, what if they just wanted these characters to be gay? Like, there are people who say that, like, that there's not enough representation or good representation for these characters in media, whatever. But these are, like, general, like, statements that people are, like, trying to, like, air to, because, like, as much as people may not know, there are some studios or some creators that still have to argue and fight a lot of executives to get these characters to be like the main character. Like, Avatar: The Last Airbender was a successful show. To have Korra be a girl, besides like, let's ignore the quality of that show. I know a lot of people don't like Korra. I get it, but just on Fight, they had to argue with Nickelodeon to have the main character to be a person of color character that's also a woman. Like, they had to argue for that. All this stuff. There's all these arguments that happen between executives and creatives. So like, just for them to have this character, it's kind of like it really is to the point. Like, this is the aspect of like the culture war nonsense that's just mind numbing, is that a lot of these people like attribute to like quotas or this or DEI, this or that, but it could just be very simply put, they might just want these characters to be that way, right? Like, you never, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you could make the same argument where it's like, well, Theo, how do you know? You don't know what goes on behind game development. I don't, but it's just like sometimes it's it's you don't need to waste energy arguing about something that you may or may not know. I just think that a lot of people just want these characters to be the way that they are because it's part of the story that they want to tell. But this dude makes it such a weird argument about it.
And they're not ostracized for being who they are. And if that's the case, I actually don't care. Like sexual curious girls, and they can enjoy it because now they can feel like there's a game for them and they're not ostracized for being who they are. And if that's the case, I actually
Well, it's I don't know about the Oscar side. I can't talk about for all these other people, but it's more than just that. It's more than it's also just like, look, we've gotten all these games. Like nobody sits there like, oh shit, like this character's straight. Oh my god, Snake is straight. Oh my god, dude, that's so risky. Oh my god. But when it comes to like a person of color, a woman, or whatever, like there's a chance that people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is a taboo," or whatever the fuck. Like, look how he's acting to this game having characters that are gay. Like, does he act this way when he played The Walking Dead? Did he act this way when he played Metal Gear Solid 3 and he saw Snake and Ava fuck? Did he act this way when he played Resident Evil 4 remake and was like, "Oh my god, guys, there's some tension between Leon and Ada." No. He was like, okay, man, yeah, this is part of the story. Okay, cool. But then when a game has like a gay character, it's like, oh my god, it's pushing an agenda, guys. Like, what if it's just a character that in a story?
actually don't care. Like to me, I don't mind that. If the game exists and that's what its purpose is, then fine. But
Okay.
I don't know.
He had this rant, and then to say, if that's the point, that's fine. I don't care. No, you do care. You just ranted about it for like 20 minutes.
Just they didn't certainly didn't push it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like from the
Because
trailers
it's a
and everything.
game. Dude, like, do you know how annoying it is to be like? This is why, like, it's the Pride Month shit, right? You go to in June. All right, all these companies change their fucking logo to rainbows. But in reality, these fucking companies don't give a fuck. They don't care. Does Disney care about the LGBT? Fuck no. They're a fucking company. They just want money. But this dude is saying they should have marketed like no, no one like half the time these people who want like more representation just want these characters just to exist as and portrayed as just a normal character, not be put on a pedestal about it. Like it would be very weird if it was like, all right, Lost Records, our brand new game, guys, our characters are gay. Yeah, they're girls. Like that would just be weird. It's a game. It's just, hey, you can play this video game. And like, yeah, you may not exactly identify with the main character, but you can like either empathize, sympathize, whatever the fuck, or at least like be engaged with the story. Like, this really is like, when every time there's like a woman character, like there's like that one person that says, I can't relate to this. I can't relate to Bayonetta, huh? But meanwhile, like all these women who have played video games with the main character as a man, they don't seem that annoyed. But when they change the main character, sometimes you may get that one clown that is like, this is stupid. This is an agenda pushing game like DSP, and it's like, dude, it's just a video game that's telling a story, and the characters are this and that because literally that it's just the story.
It was supposed to be a mystery. The friends are reuniting, and who is the mysterious person contacting them? Why do they have memory holes? That's what I want to know. The plot. I don't
Yeah,
need
but
3 hours.
these characters make up the plot. So part of telling them the plot is to also know the characters. How do you think you get to know about the characters, DSP? You don't just absorb who they are through osmosis. You have to see interactions. Come on.
Hours of fuller bullshit. And it made me bored to the point, I'm not kidding you, I was falling asleep. I was sitting here right here. actually trying to play the game, and I was nodding off like this, and people were laughing. I was like, I don't blame you. Dude, this game is
He
so
nodded off
bad
during
and
Like
so
a Dragon
boring,
as well,
I can't
multiple
stay
times in the
awake.
past.
So here, I'm gonna beat it next time we play it because it's only
He didn't
7
beat it, by
hours
the way.
supposedly, and we're around
So
5 hours
funny.
in. But man, let me tell you right now, okay? If unless something really awesome happens in the last third of this tape 1 of this game, this will absolutely be the worst game I've ever played from Don't Nod. And that even includes Vampire, and that game was a broken piece of dog shit.
Dude, he actually hated Life is Strange 2 a lot more than anything else. Like he said that game almost killed his interest in Life is Strange, which is like really funny to me because it's like one bad game. Like, yeah, you may be more apprehensive, but I don't know, whatever. I was gonna say something else, but I can't think of it. Oh, I was gonna say like it's just funny that like as he loves stories with like just a lot of like shiny keys. Like he loved Alan Wake too. I don't think he knows the story at all. He probably doesn't know what happened, but he keeps talking about the fucking rock scene, the fucking rock opera scene. That is the only thing he talked about, and it's like okay, but like, what do you think about the rest of the game or the characters? I don't know. Death Stranding is another one. Weird story, very like abstract and like whatever, and all this other stuff. Well, man, I like the game. Dude, I get it. It's like, no, you didn't. You don't understand shit, dude. The ending, he kept complaining, like, what is this, huh? But it's like, dude, there's no way he got what the ending was about, and he acts as if he's like an expert. Yeah, right.
At least it had gameplay and a fantasy setting that makes it worth playing. So I hope something interesting actually happens, okay, in this game that's
Or
interesting,
what? Or
rather
what,
than it
bitch?
being liberal girl simulator. I don't care, you know.
I love that it's like this is a liberal girl simulator. So if you go on, if you hike, if you have friends, you're a lesbian, I guess. Okay, I guess. Okay, wow.
Every other game they've made, there was a reason to play it, even if you didn't care about, like, do I care that Max in Life is Strange was bisexual? No, I don't give a shit. That's
Dude, dude, he, the scene where she was at a bar flirting with people, he kept cringing and hating on it. I did a video about it showing the nonsense because this dude was like, oh my god, it's fucking cringe." And it's like, dude, this is just a scene where like you're doing this mystery, but it's like, hey, let's take a break from that for a second. Just have her like just have fun, because she's a person, and no one's gonna just be that dedicated to anything like that much. They're gonna want to like socialize at some point. She's at a bar. What do people do at bars? They socialize, and he was like mad about it, and then he kept like mocking that it was like a liberal agenda game, but it's like, dude, it's just a video game that has liberal themes, but it's not even like the driving force of the game. It's just an aspect of it. Just because the character's bi, gay, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean it's a liberal agenda game. These are like, come on.
that's fine. They wrote the character like that, and I don't mind it because the game was interesting outside of that. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? Obviously, that character wasn't really written to appeal to me because I don't have interest in bisexual teenage women. But,
That is such a weird.
at least there was time manipulation
I mean,
mechanics, murder mystery
I
elements, things
get
that
it,
made
I
the game
guess, but
good.
this is a weird
This game is just,
sentence
oh
to
my
say.
God,
Like,
it's still
so
going.
you have to be in like. It's so weird. It's so weird. Like the more oh man, it's such a weird statement to say. Like, I mean, I hope he's not into 14-year-old girls. I hope. I fucking hope.
Still nothing happening. Like, yikes. You're driving me nuts. Wake me up. I shouldn't have to
Wake
have
me
3
up
cups of
inside.
coffee to get
Can't
through an
wake
hour of
up.
your game. You know what I mean? It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Anyway, so
Is
yeah,
that
that's
it?
my initial impressions. Now we're like I said, we're around 5 hours into the game. Dude, I am so bored, and I really hope that this last session of it is a good finale and makes it worth the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they say the journey is better than the end destination. In this case,
He's kind of wrong about that. The saying is it's not the destination, it's the friends we meet along the way. I mean, I guess there's another one, because I think there's also one that says like what he basically said. Now I think about it, but I mean, yeah, it's the journey, and then you have these friends along the way, right? Come on.
case, I hope there's an end destination that was worth that journey because that journey was excruciating. All right. Okay. Now, in regards to Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves
I
open
don't
beta.
care about this. There's nothing like problematic about this, but the key takeaway of this video should actually no, we could do a bonus. We could just do a bonus because there was another random fucking weird segment in his streams. It was gamer news. You guessed it. If I remember correctly, I should be able to say because I think he put it in the title. Let's see. Lost Records Snore. Here we go. Let's talk about this. Oh man. What is this? Oh, he's looking at his old DSP tries it. Okay. Talking about fucking pizza. Alright, where is... Here we go.
Okay, good. And I didn't miss anything else. That's all the contributions, so we got caught up. Okay.
All right.
Excellent. So, folks, I have one.
Remember though, when Rich has that applause track, someone should break his stream deck because of it. But we get this. So cool, man.
Short story I'd like to cover today, and then we can do Q&A to end the show. The short story. What do you're gonna laugh at this one? You ready for this, everybody?
All right, I'm ready.
You're gonna enjoy this one. Ready?
Okay.
The PlayStation Plus games for March have been announced. All you need is a PlayStation Plus Essential membership to play these games for free in the month of March. You don't even need the premium edition of PlayStation Plus. The games are Dragon Age the Veilguard, Sonic Colors Ultimate, and TMNT the Cowabunga Collection. Wait, what?
What?
Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Now, I like he's mocking this, but I just want everyone to remember when he was bragging and shilling for Game Pass, he said PlayStation should get some real games for their service. They don't have real games. They have stupid games and all this other shit. They had a AAA like new release, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Finally, a big release, right? And he's mocking it. He's mocking the thing he said that Sony should do for the fucking PS Plus. I remember back in the day when they were doing this, they used to do like actually good games and for PSN Plus. Then it was like stupid games like Billy and the Rope, Rope Down the Well. Like it would be this dumb game that nobody cares about. It's like, man, like can we get like actual games for PSN Plus again? Like the price went up, and like we're not getting like anything like any good games. We're getting like slop. I mean, people don't like Dragon Age the Veilguard, but at the very least, this will allow people who have essentials, I guess, to at least try the game out for themselves. Again, like I would argue, I don't like, despite how people feel about Dragon Age the Veilguard, I think it, as a consumer and people who like to play video games, I do like the idea of adding games to a service that you're already paying for. That, like, if you're already paying for a PSN Plus, Game Pass, whatever, I think it's fine to add these games to that because then you can try it out. You don't have to spend $60, then be like, oh, this game sucks. But of course, DSP has to be negative about it because he can't be positive. He can't spin anything positively. Like, honestly, I would have spun this positively because it's like, why not? It's on PSN Plus. If you have it, why, if you like Dragon Age, I guess you could try the Veilguard and see if you like that one. See if it's as bad as people say it is. Like, at least you can have an informed opinion.
That game has only been out for 4 months. 4 freaking months. The game flopped so hard and sold so poorly compared to its budget and what they were expecting. They have put it up on
Dude,
here.
these companies that have like expectations, no game realistically could like hit those expectations. Like it's kind of clown world sometimes. Like sometimes people are modest with their expectations. Others are like, all right, we're making this game and we're expecting 1 trillion copies sold day one, baby. And then it's like, all right, 2 million got sold. What? Fuck this.
As a PlayStation Plus essential game after only 4 months. Now, I want you to think about this. Sonic Colors Ultimate is a couple years old, right? Cowabunga Collection is also a couple years old. I played the Cowabunga Collection. I actually really liked it, but we never went back to it, sadly. Maybe someday we would. I don't know. There's like
Okay.
great games in there. But the Veilguard is brand new.
Yeah, maybe it's to entice
But
people
the
to
thing
buy
is, this is the
PSN
problem.
Plus.
When we talked about this with modern game development, right?
Right?
So what happens is, instead of thinking about how can we make an amazing game that's a great work of art that people will talk about and love and cherish and want to keep playing, and then, maybe, we get some money on the back end. Instead, it was, how do we make a game that will print money? Well, let's look at the trends. Oh, look, The Last of Us 2 tried to be one of the most...
This is so silly and ridiculous. Because, like, when was the Dragon Age? Well, I mean, whatever. I guess it's... whatever. Oh, God, I rewinded by accident.
Maybe, we get some money on the back end. Instead, it was, how do we make a game that will print money? Well, let's look at the trends. Oh, look, The Last of Us 2 tried to be one of the most progressive games ever. Its protagonist is gay. It's got another character that's trans. It's got a character that's kind of a butch woman, but she's still a protagonist, and everyone has to understand that even though she has male traits, she's still a woman.
That part about Abby is so silly. It is so silly. Guys, like, Abby's a woman, but but you gotta understand, she has male traits, but she's a woman. The male traits in question, she has muscles. Guys, can you imagine? Women have muscles? Dun dun dun. I mean, I'd argue more women should have muscles. Give them muscles. Why not? Let them work out. Let them in the gym. But this dude is like act as if it was like a big like agenda reason to make Abby like muscular, when very simply the reason why Abby is so muscular is literally because she wanted to get revenge on Joel. Like, it goes the Chris Redfield approach. Chris Redfield and Resident Evil. Now I don't think they explain this in game. But it's lore. It's lore in the universe that after the when Wesker like kidnaps Jill or whatever the fuck, Chris spent his entire life working out, getting fucking big as fuck to kill Wesker. Like, that's why he's so fucking muscular in Resident Evil 5, because he was so focused on killing Wesker that he worked out that much. And that's like that's Abby's mindset. Joel killed my dad. Fuck this guy. I'm gonna kill him so hard, and I'm gonna use a golf club to do it because I love golf. My dad loved golf, so it makes sense in a fitting way to get revenge. But like, it's literally just like, that's why she was muscular. It's like the most basic understanding of the character you can have in that game.
And and all this and that. So all these progressive,
and like, these aren't really progressive themes. Like, Last of Us 2, I'd argue, isn't like a progressive game. It just has like a trans character, a gay character, and Abby decided to go to the gym. Like, that's it. These aren't like progressive agendas. These are just characters in a game that they want to have in their game. Like, even the trans character, her plotline, or his plotline, whatever, has been in other media before. Like, this has been a thing for years. It's just now it's more acknowledged as a trans character for the most part. Like, come on.
Themes, right? And
And the big theme about Last of Us 2 is very simple. Revenge is bad. Like, Last of Us 2 didn't have a great story. I like Last of Us 1 a little bit more, but I will say the one thing I did like about Last of Us 2's story, I liked Abby's plotline. I thought Abby's plotline was far more interesting than Ellie's. I kind of think what they should have done was just have the game focus on Abby at the start, and then like halfway of the game, you get to the cabin and you kill Joel. Like, that scene plays out, and then you play as Ellie. Like, I think that would be a better way to like deal with that, or something in the middle of that. What they did was like it's ridiculous, but we'll get into more of that because he goes. See, this is why I want to do a video on this. He goes on a random Last of Us 2 rant that is so weird. It really is like he's the only dude who is talking about Last of Us 2 in current year. Like, and he tricks other people to talk about the game.
while this is going on, the actual head game developer, Neil Druckmann, comes out and says, yes, our game is incredibly progressive, and if you don't like it, you're a bigot. Anyone
That's not what he said. He did say that like the people who hated the game are bigots or something like that, but he didn't say that yes, our game is progressive. He just said like, yeah, we have like, whatever. I don't remember the two. It was years ago. Like, on one hand, like, arguably you could say he's just addressing people who are bigoted, who were hating on the game for like unfounded reasons. Like, they didn't even play the game, they're just hating it just off as a knee-jerk reaction. Meaning that he's clearly not talking about people who play the game or just didn't like the game. But I do agree that I think like when you make a Twitter account like that, it's very easy to misconstrue into something else and just fuel a hate wagon. Like, it will just be like to stir people up, and it's just gonna be another like a whole other thing. So I don't think it was a very clever move, even though DSP said Neil Druckmann was a smart cookie for doing that. It wasn't a good move because, again, like when you put something on Twitter, it could be easily misconstrued as something else, and you see what happened. Like, come on.
anyone who doesn't like The Last of Us 2 is literally a troll, and we should use this opportunity
But
to
you know what DSP
basically
does this?
crush our trolls. A sale of our game.
Oh, yes. Is that where DSP got it? Is us crush the goals and smash our trolls? No, smash the goals and crush our trolls. Like, DSP does that all the time.
Defeats the bigoted trolls. So a feel-good movement starts where people
This is where everything falls off the wagon, because the Neil Druckmann stuff is like typical. Like, you could always expect that, but then he brings up the feel good movement, which I can't wrap my mind around. The Last of Us 2 is the furthest thing from a feel good game that you could get. The game is misery. And then going back to the theme of like art and all this other stuff, just because it's art doesn't mean that you have to be like happy all the time. Like, art can make you feel challenged, feel awful, whatever. That's part of art. That's part of the experience. And his biggest issue with Last of Us 2 was that it made him feel bad. Like, that's sometimes the point. Sometimes you need to feel bad to truly understand or feel for what's going on sometimes. But that's that. But the feel good movement thing is insane. He says that about a player's choice, and it's like, it's a whatever thing in the grand scheme of things, because nobody was gonna overvote for Last of Us 2.
are like, oh, I want to do the right thing socially. So I'm going to buy this game and I'm going to promote this game. We're going to say this game is the best game.
Nobody bought like, this is insane. If you truly want to help marginalized people or marginalized communities or anything, that you're not going to buy Last of Us 2. The only way you never do that is if they were going to donate the money that they made on the game to like charities or organizations for those people. If you truly want to help people, you're either going to organize with them or you're going to support these organizations or whatever. You're not going to fucking buy a video game.
Game ever. Now listen, The Last of Us 2 is not a bad game when it comes to the graphics, when it comes to the gameplay elements, when it actually comes to like the acting. It's actually quite good. The problem is, it's one of the worst plots in gaming history. It's incredibly poorly written.
I wouldn't say it's the worst plot in gaming history because it does at least like tell a story from start to finish competently. It's just like there are other issues with it. It's not the worst. There are worse stories out there, Phil.
Incredibly poorly paced. It uses in medias res, which is
again. We are talking about Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and we are talking more about The Last of Us. Again, all the story should have been was, hey guys, they had Dragon Age: The Veilguard to the March month stuff, which is kind of fucked up because the game came out like 4 months ago. That must mean that the game did not sell enough, and they're hoping to sell more or to get more people to try the game out. Well, I mean, I guess that is a thing. You know, it is what it is, or whatever. That's the story. What does DSP do? How can I make this about Last of Us 2? It really is like he's going through withdrawals from not talking about Neil Druckmann enough. Oh my god. When that game comes out, was it called like Space Prophet? I don't fucking know. I don't remember. When that game comes out, Jesus, we are gonna get like insane Druckmann rants again. Druckmann rants are gonna come back and they're probably gonna be worse. Honestly, the fact that that we're getting worse rants now, when he's getting the most money, when that game comes out, it's probably gonna be worse. He's probably gonna be like, Trump should ban Naughty Dog. Trump should like put them in jail. Let's put Naughty Dog in jail. Let's lock them up. These people then walk into like, guys, I'm gonna run for president. I'm gonna lock Neil up, and he's gonna go on a rant saying, lock him up, and then it's gonna have like campaign slogans. Make gaming great again is gonna actually be his fucking phrase. And then it's gonna become our like 60th president, whatever the fuck, and then America is gonna be a true joke. A true joke where even America's gonna be begging Canada to invade. That's our future. This is our future president. Get ready. Get ready. He's still too young to be president now. Wait until he's like 80. Then he'll be able to run. He'll be the new Republican, the new face of the Republican Party. Get ready. Get hyped.
Is fucked up because then you have to, in the middle of the...
And then the Democrats, oh, wait till you see what they're gonna come up with. It's gonna be, it can't be me. I'm too young. I'm way too young. I'd be a baby by that point. King Cobra, why not? They're gonna get him. They're gonna get King Cobra to run. Yes, and Cobra's gonna talk about whatever the fuck he talks about on his streams. So it's gonna be DSP versus Cobra. Then when DSP wins in a landslide, the Dems will blame the voters about losing in the campaign. You should have voted for Cobra. What the fuck? It's your fault we're here. We could have picked anyone, but we picked Cobra, and that's your fault.
Of the game, jump back to the beginning of the story to figure out what actually happened, leaving you confused. It's really one of the worst narratives I've ever experienced in a video game to this day.
By the way, I like that he shits on in Middy's res when he praised Uncharted 2. I don't know what that rant was, by the way. I'm sorry. It's been something, but I love that he's shitting on in Middy's res. He praised Uncharted 2 for being in Middy's res, but now it's bad because Last of Us 2 sucks, right?
Day, but most people just ignore that because they just want to say, oh, but it's a feel-good game, so you know it's great. It's not
a feel-good game. And nobody said it was feel-good. Nobody, even people who liked the game, did not say it was a feel-good game. Come on.
Responsible for the plot, Neil Druckmann. So we know where the problem lies, right? But the problem is that game came out and it sold like gangbusters, right? Super big seller.
It was a sequel to a game people liked. Like, come on.
You know, game of the year bullshit, right? So what happened was every game studio said, I want that. I want my game to sell because I want to also be a part of the progressive feel-good movement. And we ended up getting a year or 2 years of nonstop games trying to be very progressive, left pushing, which doesn't make
What?
sense. I don't care about those things. I just want a good
Oh my
video game.
god,
And if the
whatever.
game is good, if it plays well, if it hooks
By the way, he literally said that Dragon Age: The Veilguard is a solid game. Like, it's not amazing, but it's fine. The reason why he stopped playing it is because his audience begged him not to play it. Like, that's what got him to stop playing.
hooks me, if it has elements that I like, then then you could maybe worry about trying to push these themes down our throats. But instead, this game has pulling a bar.
Wait, what? Hold
Then
up.
I don't care about those things. I just
Right.
want a good video game. And if the game is
Okay.
good, if it plays well, if it hooks me, if it has elements that I like, then
He told us The Last of Us 2 isn't a bad game. It has good gameplay, good this, good that, right? So it checked his little boxes here. So why is he crying about Last of Us 2, huh?
then you could maybe worry about trying to push these themes down our throats. But instead, this game has pulling a barf. This game has a
Pulling a barf is an in-universe thing that a character talks about. Again, that infamous scene that everyone's talking about. To me, I think the bigger issue in that scene isn't them doing a push-up to apologize for misgendering someone. I think it's literally just in my opinion, is the scene where that one character is like, so like you do that because like you want to show how sincere you are to apologize, but what if you did apologize and then and you say you're sorry and then like that part I feel like you that didn't need to happen. Like that felt a little redundant to what was going on. Like you already had the character explain why she was doing a barf. That should be enough, right? Because there's been so many stories where characters like do something in their culture and then they explain what it's about and then that's enough. We don't need a character to explain a thing they do in their culture and then someone says more questions that are just going back to the initial answer. Like, I think that was, in my opinion, cringy and kind of like ham-fisted into like why she was doing that. Like, she said what she had to say and that's enough. That should have been enough. Oh, but that's it. It's like a 2-minute scene. Like, if that's enough to like to sink your entire enjoyment of a game, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, there's other things that you can dislike about the game, I'm sure, but it's like, you know, DSP bringing that as an example is kind of it's just not that enticing of a reason to shit on a game. If there's other reason to hate on, like a lot of people like don't like how the game looks, and that's like preference because I've also seen some people like how the game looks. It's very hit or miss. It's like it's kind of like the same thing I feel about the Castlevania anime series. Like I have seen art from artists who worked on it like on Twitter, and I like their art. You know, they're very talented. But the show isn't like I don't think the animation is like that good either. Like it's in a very weird spot for me. But I see why people may like it. You know, it's like that kind of thing, visually at least.
the outward trans character. This game has all these themes. It's like, did we really need these themes in Dragon Age?
But what do they want them to be in the game?
So
like,
they put them in there, and what happens
so
before
we could have a game with a dragon. We could all believe that, and we love that. But the second a character says I'm trans, oh my god, this is insane. This is too far, man. Let's you know we have a dragon. That's enough. I don't know.
released, you've got the internet completely roasting this fucking game. If it were 3-4 years ago, this game probably would have been touted as Game of the Year material.
I don't think so. I'm just gonna say because again, even like the visuals alone, I was like, yeah, I knew the game was cooked before anything else was shown because uh it just some of the models don't look that good in the game. Like I'm sure you can find good looking models in the game and all this other stuff, but it just some of the scenes just look too silly, and it's like yeah, no one is gonna like this. And I don't think if it was released 20 years ago that would have changed anything. Like it would have been cooked anyway.
material. Oh my God, the progressive themes are so good. I can't believe it. Instead, they took too long because they tried to ride the trend, right? It's exactly what it is. We got to ride the trend.
How are they
You
riding
took too long.
Why are they riding? How are they riding a trend as they're releasing? Like they're riding the trend when they release the game. It's too late. But whatever.
To make the game because you
Like,
can't follow
writing the
trends in gaming because it takes you
Whatever.
5 years to make a game. So by the time the game comes out, the trend is over. All
Okay.
politics have flipped in the other direction. Trump has been reelected as president of
This is still brain dead logic to me. The president does not dictate culture, and it does not dictate art. Like there are still going to be people who are, and if anything, you could argue that this presidency is just going to push people to make more progressive stories and more progressive themes. It's not going to just end and die with Biden. It's going to keep continuing and getting a bigger push because it's going to be, stories that people want to make. That's just the nature of it. I mean, like the president does not dictate culture. They just don't. Like the only thing that it may dictate is opinion. I mean, because usually, like when Trump won the election, a lot of people were just kind of like a little concerned in the sense that like that Trump biopic came out last year. It's called The Apprentice, and the actor, he's a good actor by the way, was trying to do like photo shoots with other people or whatever, and no one wanted to do anything with him because of this. Like, oh, he was in that Trump movie, and Trump's our president, and people are saying like this is kind of alarming because the president should not matter with this. Like, this is a movie, and like this whatever, like it and even as far as the movie is concerned, I don't even think that movie was that critical of Trump. I mean, it wasn't like praising him either, but it wasn't like doing anything that was awful in comparison with what you could expect, right? But it's a solid movie overall. A little mini review, I guess. Movie review, I guess. But yeah, the president just does not dictate culture or anything like that because people will still make whatever they want to make. It may be harder, I guess. I guess that's the thing to take away, but there will still be people who are going to make stories about trans characters, gay characters, whatever the fuck. That will always be the case. They're not going anywhere.
President of the United States, and everyone looks at this game and says, fuck this. It's too left.
Like, man, if you're that swayed, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. Oh wow, this game is progressive themes. Who's our president? Wrong president. So sorry, Dragon Age. You should have waited until Trump is out of office, dumbass. Like, that's really stupid logic. If you're that easily swayed, then you're a weakling. I don't know what to tell you. Like, come on. Come on. Like, that's like, come on. I don't know what more to say.
Too progressive, right? And again, this may not have happened if it were a few years ago, but they fucked up.
But Trump was still president.
I don't know what they were thinking, but
way before, right? Like,
this is what happened. So another failure, and now it's on Game Pass. Is everyone gonna? Are you gonna? I said Game Pass, by the way. It's on PS Plus. Are you guys gonna play it on PS Plus?
Maybe. Why not?
I know I'm not gonna play it on PS Plus. I own it. Someone donated it to me,
but
I only played it like 12 hours, and you guys told me to drop it. You begged me. You said, please stop playing this game, so I did. But
other people could play. It's on fucking PSN Plus.
It's just sad. And again, this is BioWare. The company used to be one of the biggest companies in game development.
I don't think BioWare is that
every
big.
Single game that came out that
people love Mass Effect, sure, but I don't think Mass Effect was like that big when you compare it to like Capcom or Nintendo or Konami. Like, I don't think BioWare was that big. I mean, they made good games, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to shun them, but they are known for 2 games. Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like, I mean, that's it.
Out that they made was gold, right? Guaranteed bestseller. Guaranteed will sell and blow and make sales numbers. Instead, and to be honest, when I was playing Dragon Age Veilguard, did I dislike anything that I had in it? Not really. The problem was it was boring. Like, literally, it was content for content's sake, meaning go around and do this mission, go around and do this, do that. Okay, but why are we doing this? What is the overall plot? There are 2 gods that broke through the dimension and are free or taking over the planet. Okay, well, I'm 12 hours in and we've done 0 missions that regards that. So what is this game?
Oh man, dude, every game has like
Yeah,
side
you get an intro
missions.
segment, and once the intro's
Oh
done, you
man,
literally do no missions that
dude,
relate to the actual
you
quest
play.
or
He
plot of the
did. He
game.
did like an optional dungeon in Metaphor, a game that was like during like an election. Like the game is set during an election. They're trying to find a new king. All this stuff's going on, and he was dicking around in an optional dungeon. And did DSP ever say, "Why am I here? What are we doing here? What about what's going on in like in the main story? Huh? This is stupid."
It just keeps going on. Here's a mission that's unrelated. Here's a mission that's unrelated. Here's a mission that's side work, busy work. What's going on?
Like this is a weird complaint when other
So
RPGs he likes
most
do the
people
same
likely,
thing.
even if you play it on PS Plus, you'll play it for like 10 hours like I did, and then you'll just drop it like everybody else did who bought it. Almost no one's going to finish that game.
He really dropped it. Like he did a Stalker 2 to Dragon Age. He played other
by the
games
way,
and that's it.
I'm
Never
just
went
going
back.
to make this clear. I actually don't care if there's progressive themes or leftist politics.
I don't care. Dude, you were just ranting about Last of Us 2 having progressive themes. This attitude of saying, of ranting and raving and then saying, I don't care, it is so silly. It really is the meme, the living meme. Guys, I don't care about DSP. I don't care. Thanks for watching this 2-hour video. I don't care, though. I don't care about DSP.
Politics.
I don't care about what he has to
say. What I care about
say.
is if the core game is good, right? That makes me want to keep playing it, you know?
Oh my
And
God,
if it's done tastefully, and if it's not shoved down your throat, I didn't even get to a point in Veilguard where anything like that was shoved down my throat. It is in there. I didn't even get to it because I couldn't even get that far. I was bored, and so was the audience. So we just said, fuck this game and dropped it. Compare that to any previous Dragon Age. Never happened. So...
Well, it was never.
It is what it is, I guess. It's modern game development, and it's just sad.
Wasn't Veilguard the only like
how many
new
games
Dragon
now?
Age
There's supposed to be big AAA giant releases. It's gonna sell like it's gonna be a blockbuster release, and then it comes out, sucks, fizzles. Oh look, it's on fucking PS Plus or Game Pass or whatever.
I love how Game Pass and PSN Plus, mostly Game Pass, has downgraded to just garbage. If you're on Game Pass, the value of the game goes out the window. Only indie games can go in there and be fine, but if your game goes on Game Pass, devalued, trash game. It is insane to me, because he had so many streams hyping up Game Pass. Guys, we can do game night where we just go through Game Pass. Wow, Game Pass is so cool. It's changing the face of gaming. And now it's, oh, this game's on Game Pass? Ew. Oh, man. I think that's it, by the way. I don't think
within a few months. That's lame and sad.
See, it's
okay.
It's low-key anti-consumer.
So guys,
honestly, I'm gonna say it. I think more games should go on Game Pass or PSN Plus 4 months after release. Fuck it. Why not? Let people who pay for these dumbass services get something out of it. They're paying Sony and Microsoft fucking like double digits a year at least to play their stupid services. Put these new games on there. Fuck it, you might as well. Like, whatever. The only thing that I feel bad about these services is that it screws over the developer to a degree. But it's like, but that's another issue. That is another discussion. But this dude who's like, oh man, games are expensive, this and that, like, he really does not give a fuck about giving any gamer at least a break to get something cheaper and always fucking belittles it. But whatever, it is what it is. Thank you for watching this video. It was a wild one, to be honest. That phone call kind of rattled me, to be honest. I don't know, but I think I stuck the landing overall. I got everything I needed to say. Maybe I could have worded some of my stuff better, whatever. But, that's why you watch my vids. You like the organic flow. This is a reciprocate, a meaningful video. Obviously, okay? Get it? Alright? But anyways, thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you next time. Have a good week, and I hope to see you when I see you. Bye.
I am not crazy.
Shit.